Coming up today, South Korea and the United States start their annual Ulchi Freedom Guardian exercises. North Korea has threatened to retaliate against the US over the military drills. Korea's presidential office, the ruling party and the government agree to push forward with the passage of key reform bills next month. First, the wreckage of an Indonesian plane carrying 54 people has been found in a remote part of the Papua region. Stay tuned for these stories and more. Hello and welcome. It's 6 a.m. on Monday, August 17th. Here in Seoul, I'm Mark Broome and you're tuned in to our early morning edition of Arirang News. Our top story this morning, Seoul and Washington are set to kick off their annual joint military exercise from this Monday. The so-called Ulchi Freedom Guardian exercises are scheduled to take place until August 28th to train South Korean and US forces to deal with a range of current and future threats. The drills involve around 80,000 South Korean and American troops in a war game that simulates an invasion by North Korea. Officials say North Korea was informed of the Allies' plans through a loudspeaker at Panmunjom, the truce village inside the DMZ, on Saturday. Now, Pyongyang has threatened to take strong military counteraction against the planned drills. The drills kick off amid heightened tensions between the two Koreas after a recent landmine explosion in the demilitarized zone that seriously injured 2 South Korean soldiers. As part of efforts to restart dialogue for holding cross-border family reunions later this year, South Korea will update the list of family members separated by the Korean War by next month. The Unification Ministry says around 130,000 people were registered between 1988 and July 31st this year. However, 63,000 have already passed away and more than half of the surviving 66,000 are over the age of 80. A ministry official stressed the importance of updating the list for the sake of organizing future reunions. The goal is to complete and send the list to North Korea by Chuseok, the autumn harvest festival celebrated by both Koreas that falls at the end of September this year. It remains unclear if North Korea will respond favorably to the South's proposal due to the current frosty state of inter-Korean relations. The head of South Korea's main opposition party has laid out his vision for economic development on the Korean peninsula on the 70th anniversary of Korea's liberation from Japan's colonial rule. Jaein says that if he becomes president after the next election, he will push for the economic integration of the two Koreas. Song Ji-sun reports.
A day after nationwide celebrations of Korea's liberation, main opposition leader Jaein laid out his vision for the integration of the two Koreas. In his speech marking the 70th anniversary, the head of the main opposition New Politics Alliance for Democracy said Sunday that Seoul should prepare for the next 30 years, with the goal of expanding its economic zone through economic unity. By bridging the Korean peninsula with other continents through the North Territory, Moon suggested that the resulting economic integration would create new jobs and growth momentum.
Reunification may not take place soon, but if our economic unity comes first, our companies will immediately gain access to a market of 80 million people. Korea will then be able to achieve a per capita income of $30,000 US.
Calling for reconciliation with the North, Moon also urged the government to resume reunions of separated families and restart the stalled six-party talks aimed at denuclearizing Pyongyang. The former chief of staff to late President Roh Moo-hyun finished runner-up to President Park Geun-hye during the 2012 presidential election and is a favorite to run in the next race. In a statement, the ruling Saenuri Party responded to Moon's call for economic unity by labeling it a vague idea built on thin cloud. It also warned that careful discretion should be taken when approaching Pyongyang, considering its ongoing provocations. Song Ji-sun, Arirang News.
South Korean businesses with factories at the Inter-Korean Kaesong Industrial Complex are having to change their working hours to adjust to North Korea's new time zone. Seoul's Unification Ministry says North Korea intends to follow its new standard time 30 minutes behind South Korea's time when receiving South Korean commuters at the business park from this Monday morning. Now, earlier this month, North Korea announced its plans to push back clocks half an hour on August 15th, the 70th anniversary of Korea's liberation from Japan's colonial rule. A South Korean official said the ministry will take all necessary measures to ensure a smooth transition to the new hours. Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe is facing criticism after delivering his highly anticipated war anniversary statement late last week. Some in Japan are expressing disappointment over the missed opportunity to improve Seoul-Tokyo ties due to Abe's lack of sincerity. Hwang Sang-yi reports.
Former Japanese Prime Minister Tomichi Murayama, who gave a landmark apology for Japan's wartime past in 1995, was left unimpressed by the Abe statement issued on Friday.
I have no idea what he is trying to say.
While Prime Minister Shinzo Abe upheld his predecessor's apologies in a statement marking the 70th anniversary of the end of World War II, he also stressed the need for Japan's future generations to turn the page on history, a remark which left some confused.
I don't know what he means by not being predestined to apologize.
Japanese media outlets expressed disappointment, saying the statement could have been a turning point for Korea-Japan relations had Tokyo shown more sincerity. Regarding President Park Geun-hye's Liberation Day speech on Saturday, they said progress on the comfort women issue will play a key role between the two neighbors.
특히 일본 정부는 일본군 위안부 피해자 문제를 조속히 합당하게 해결하기를 바랍니다.
Officials from Korea and Japan have held 8 rounds of high-level talks to resolve the issue, but have yet to reach an agreement. The two sides are reportedly considering the so-called Sasae proposal that was brought to the table in 2012 by then Vice Foreign Minister Kenichiro Sasae. The main stipulations of the proposal include the issuing of a letter of apology to the surviving comfort women by the Japanese Prime Minister and financial compensation from the Japanese government. Experts say if the two leaders fail to mend ties in the second half of this year, bilateral relations could remain frosty until the end of their respective terms in office. Hwang Sang-yi, Arirang News.
Back here in Korea, and the presidential office of Cheongwade, the ruling Saenuri Party, and the government have agreed to push forward with the passage of key reform bills next month. At a coordination meeting on Sunday, the three sides pledged to enhance cooperation to pass reform bills in the 4 designated sectors of public, labour, education and finance. Now, their main focus is on the labour sector in a bid to revive the economy and to create more jobs for young people. The three sides also agreed to expedite ratification of Korea's free trade deals with China, Vietnam and New Zealand. Boats have arrived at the site of the sunken Sewol ferry as they prepare to begin salvage operations there. Korea's Ministry of Oceans and Fisheries says an 11,000-ton floating crane and a towboat are on site to begin the field investigation on this Monday. Underwater research will start from next Sunday with the goal of removing oil from inside the sunken ferry and to install nets to prevent missing bodies from slipping out of the ferry. The consortium, led by Chinese company Shanghai Salvage, plans to lift the Sewol onto a floating deck by early next year and have it on shore by mid-2016. 295 people, mostly high school students, died when the ferry sank last April. The bodies of 9 people still missing are presumed to still be inside the vessel. An Indonesian passenger plane that went missing with 54 people on board has been found crashed in a remote and mountainous part of the country. A government official has confirmed the Trigana Air Service plane had been found in the Oktabe district of Papua region. Details are still filtering through, but the official says villagers reported seeing the plane smash into the side of a mountain. The domestic flight, carrying 44 adult passengers, 5 children and 5 crew members, lost contact with air traffic control on Sunday afternoon local time without making a distress call. A detailed search was called off late Sunday because of bad weather and fading daylight. And the death toll from the massive explosions in the Chinese port city of Tianjin has risen to 112, with 95 still reported missing. The vast majority of those still unaccounted for after Wednesday's blasts are firefighters. Chinese officials have acknowledged the presence of toxins at the site, but they say they pose no risk to people outside the 2-kilometer evacuation zone. An army officer, however, confirmed the presence of more than 100 tons of deadly sodium cyanide stored at 2 separate sites. He said workers were trying to clear the area of chemicals before possible rain showers, which could create toxic gas. Now, Chinese Premier Li Keqiang arrived in Tianjin on Sunday afternoon to direct rescue efforts. As you can see the video there, China's number 2 was within 1 kilometer of the blast site, but he was dressed in just a normal shirt and was not wearing a face mask. Now, for the past 5 years, Korea's aerospace agency has been working on a drone that's powered by the sun and can fly at high altitudes for long stretches of time. For more details on how the craft has reached another milestone, Jaein reports.
The sky may not be the limit for this unmanned aerial vehicle. In its latest test flight, the Electrical Aerial Vehicle, or EAV-3, soared into the stratosphere more than 14 kilometers above the Earth. The developers at the Korea Aerospace Research Institute say the craft is able to fly at such high altitudes because of its massive wingspan of nearly 20 meters. Still, it only weighs around 53 kilograms, thanks to a structure made of carbon fiber composite materials. It's also eco-friendly in that it's only powered by solar cells and a secondary battery. The scientists say that when the craft is complete, it will be able to handle long flights using the sun as an eternal source of renewable energy.
Once we commercialize the stratospheric electrical UAV, it can be used in various fields. For example, to provide communication services or monitor environmental damage in remote areas.
The aircraft was made entirely with Korean technology. The institute is now working on additional technology to ensure the drone can stay in the air for as long as possible. Won-ji-hyun, Arirang News.
Korean director Hong Sang-soo's movie Right Now, Wrong Then has won the top prize at this year's Locarno International Film Festival. This is the second time a Korean film has won the Golden Leopard at the festival hosted in Switzerland after Why Has Bodhidharma Left for the East won the award in 1989. Now, the film's star, Jung Jae-young, also took the prize for Best Actor, becoming the first Korean male lead to win the award. Right Now, Wrong Then is a romantic comedy that tells the story of 2 characters who meet up twice over the course of the same day. Now, if you're in Seoul and want to meet Korean stars like Psy, Park Ji-sung and Kim Yeon-ah all in one place, then you're in luck. They're all standing by for a photo op at the first Asian branch of a famous French wax museum. Park Se-young takes us there.
Korean celebrities, historical figures, and sports stars are all immortalized in wax at the newly opened Gurvang Museum in Seoul. Located in the City Hall Annex near the popular shopping district of Myeongdong, the museum features 80 life-size wax figures of world-renowned figures and celebrities. That list also includes 30 Koreans led by K-pop stars Psy, G-Dragon, and Rain, actor Bae Young-jun and actress Chun Do-yeon, and athletes Kim Yeon-ah and Park Ji-sung. And 4 to 5 new figures will be added each year. The Seoul Museum is the first Asian branch and 4th in the world of France's famous wax museum, Musée Gurvang. The city was chosen for its growing status as a tourist destination, driven largely by the popularity of the Hallyu or Korean wave.
The opening of the museum in Seoul represents Korea's role as a leader of popular culture in Asia.
Inside the 4-story building, there are 14 exhibition halls, each with a different theme, like the red carpet room with the Hallyu stars and the presidential aircraft with global figures like UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon and US President Barack Obama. The museum is expecting roughly 450,000 visitors per year, especially tourists from other Asian countries. 박세영, Arirang News.
Well, that's all we have for now on this Monday morning here in Seoul. I'm Mark Broome. Have a great day and a great start to the week. And thank you, as always, for tuning in. Our next newscast is coming up at noon Korea time. We do hope to see you then. Goodbye.